My name is Alicia Brooks, and I'm a writing coach, and I'm a writer of several novels and screenplays, and a writer's book just for you. And I want to help you overcome writer's block for good. So let's just go over these 5 vital actions on how to get inspired. So the first thing is research. The more you research, the more you can be inspired. So I was in the National Library of Ireland, and I just decided I was going to pick a book. And I picked this book, and these are the archives, so they're just dated. And I picked some book from 1600s or something of the sort, and I just flipped it open. Okay, I don't know if you've ever done this, but anyway, so I just flipped it open, and an entry. So I was just reading this entry, and it was about 8 pages. But the more I read, the more fascinated I got. I was reading about this terrible man. Terrible man. He had from the very beginning very evil intentions, and decided that the way that he was going to carry out these evil intentions was to take on the role of a minister. And wow, this guy was so dead set in having these evil intentions and carrying out these bad purposes, that he was so thorough. He went and did the ministry school and actually became a minister with all of these dead set horrible intentions in mind. It gives you ideas about politicians too. Like, there are some politicians that enter politics, and they enter politics to help people. But there are some that go in there with the idea, I'm going to just make money for the rest of my life, and who gives a shit about other people, and who cares what laws go into place while I'm, living a life of luxury. So anyway, point is, I did this research, and I read these pages on this guy, and he was horrific. And I said, whew, man, I want to research him more, because I'd really like to actually write this as like a very intense, thrilling screenplay, and talk to my writing partner about it. And it's definitely in our back pocket, as far as something we're going to be doing. So that's exciting. But that's the thing, is like, I wouldn't have known that I wanted to write anything like that had I not done some research. So research is vital. Sit down. You can go into any library and pick out a topic that you like. Maybe it's the stock market, or maybe it's the Depression, the Depression. Maybe it's something else, maybe it is the subject of depression, mental health, who knows? But the point is that find something to guide you, and then go to the library, the physical library. I'm all for Wikipedia and other encyclopedias online, like true encyclopedias. But there's nothing like a library. And if you do like I did and go to like a national archive where you see the history of a particular country or state, you may find inspiration where you never thought to look. So I did that, and it was fantastic. So research, that's number 1. Life experience for inspiration is amazing. Okay, your own life experience, your grandfather's life experience. Maybe you see some old pictures in your parents' storage, and you realize that your grandfather was in a war or something, or maybe your grandmother was writing to your grandfather, and you found their love letters. These are they're not uncommon, which is fine. it's wonderful if they're not uncommon, because you're telling your own story. You're telling a different story than somebody else's story, right? So these things, these life experiences, can be ripe for inspiration. The third thing about a vital action is having your space set up. And I go into, and you may have already seen it, but I go into these videos about creating a safe space for your writing. That's very important. So have a peaceful, safe, productive space for yourself that has all your tools available, so that you can be open for that inspiration and you can write. The fourth thing is your planning. Planning is really important. Now, obviously, research goes into the planning. Your plot, your theme, your synopsis, your character list, the traits, the locations, creating that universe, that all goes into that planning. So I urge you to put your plan together before you start writing. Otherwise, by page 200, you might have changed the character's eyes to blue when they were brown. And so you got to just make sure that all of your points line up and that everything works out properly. Otherwise, that's one of the ways that gets you into writer's block, is you write yourself into a corner. So don't write yourself into a corner. Prepare, plan, research, plot, theme, all of those things, super important. Last thing is vital action. Write. Yeah. I said it. You sit down and you write. Instead of going to the TV and watching TV, if this is important enough to you, then you need to sit down and write. Okay, good luck. If this video has inspired you and you'd like to know more, send me a message below.